All right, so we're going to start on page 145 in grammar. So let's go there, 145. 145. So we're talking about adjectives today, and obviously you know what those are. Oh, here comes Zach, so let me get him in here real quick. Just when you thought you knew everything about adjectives, there's more. Yeah. So these are when you have a list of adjectives. There's this special way to make a list of adjectives, and there's ways to punctuate with commas. Hi, Zach. Good morning. So we're on page 145 in grammar, okay? So the adjectives we're talking about today are called coordinate. So it says often two or more adjectives come before a noun. The adjectives are coordinate if each adjective independently describes the noun that follows. So these are nouns that are, sorry, let me back up. These are adjectives in a row that you write in a row, but if they are independently describing the noun, they're called coordinate adjectives. And if they are coordinate, you do need a comma. So it says a comma is used to separate items in a sentence. We already know that. Use a comma to separate coordinate adjectives. Because the order of coordinate adjectives is not important, the adjectives are separated with a comma. The other one that you're going to learn next week is called cumulative. So there's two types of lists of adjectives, coordinate and cumulative, which we'll learn next week. But since this is just your first time with this one, all the adjectives that you're going to see in the homework this week that are in a list are going to require a comma this week. Next week, you have to decide if it's coordinate or cumulative. But the main thing to remember is coordinate adjectives describe the noun separately, even though they're in a list. And you're going to use a comma. There are two tests that you can do to determine whether the adjectives before a noun are coordinate. Can you reverse the order? And can you add and between them? If you answer yes, the adjectives are coordinate, use a comma. So those are the two test questions for you. Can you reverse the order? Does it still sound okay? Can you put and in between them? Does it still sound okay? If you answer yes, then they're coordinate. So here's your example. They entered the untouched, thick forest. So untouched is describing the forest and thick is describing the forest, and they're describing it separately. So it can be an untouched forest, thick forest. So the test says, can we reverse those two? Can you say, it says here, are they coordinate adjectives? Do they need a comma? So reverse the order. The thick, untouched forest. Yeah, you can say that. It still sounds okay. The thick, untouched forest. Yes, you can reverse the order. Can you add and in between the adjectives, the untouched and thick forest? Yes, you can add and. It still sounds okay. So because it passes that test, we need a comma. And here it is with the comma. They entered the untouched, comma, thick forest. Thick and untouched are coordinate adjectives and separated with a comma. And then the way you fix it, like we just did, is add a comma between the coordinate adjectives. Here's one more example at the very bottom. Marian was a courageous, thoughtful maiden. So these are separate adjectives describing the maiden. She's courageous, courageous maiden, thoughtful maiden. So can you reverse the order? Could you say Marian was a thoughtful, courageous maiden? Yeah, you can. Can you put and in between it? Marian was a courageous and thoughtful maiden. Yes. So that means they are coordinate and you need a comma. So when you use this comma, you don't have to add a fanboys word here. You don't have to add and. It can just be listed like that without the coordinate. Without the coordinating conjunction. Okay. Marian was a courageous, comma, thoughtful maiden. All right, that's it for today. Like I said, next week, you guys are going to learn another set of adjectives called cumulative. Those are fun. Grayson, how about you read the sentence today?
The stranger, who was still annoyed because of his unjust thrashings, did not readily agree.
Okay, good. Not readily actually there, but yes, you're right about thrashing. That is the vocabulary word. It means whipping. It can mean other things too, like if you're thrashing around in the water because you don't know how to swim, it's like you're flailing. But since you have an adjective right before it, harsh, thrashing, this becomes a noun, just to give you a heads up on that, even though it has the ing ending, it's considered a noun, thrashing. Okay, so that is the vocabulary. Go ahead and find the article. That's easy. It's the first word. And then, Zach, where are the two nouns in the sentence? I can't hear you if you're talking.
Thrashing.
What's the first one?
Stranger
Yes. And
and thrashing.
okay, good. I hear you now. For a second, I couldn't hear you. What are the four adjectives, Grayson?
Unjust,
Yes.
harsh,
Yes.
is still one.
Still is actually an adverb. So not still, but there is a word that describes the stranger.
Annoyed,
There you go. Annoyed is actually an adjective. Good. And then there's one more. Whose thrashing does it belong to?
mm, his,
Yes, his. There you go. So that is another adjective. Good. The adverb, Zach?
still,
Good.
was one.
Was is a verb, so no, we're not going to count that one.
All right. Because
No, it's got a ly. There is an ly adverb in here.
readily,
Readily, there you go. And then right before that,
not.
not is an adverb. It's telling how readily, it's not readily agree. So that becomes an adverb. Good. And then we're going to come back to prepositional phrases. So Grayson, where's the who which clause?
Who was still annoyed
Keep going.
because of his unjust, harsh thrashings.
Very good. See how you got the commas here, separating out that who clause. So who was still annoyed because of his unjust, harsh thrashing. Okay. There's a main clause in here. Do you know where that is, Zach? It's got to have a subject verb pair, and I will give you a clue that it does include the who which clause.
Stranger who was still annoyed.
It's actually going to be the entire sentence all the way to the end. And sometimes it helps if you get stuck on this for homework, it helps to find the verbs and the subjects before the main clause. So you were close. It's basically the whole sentence, and I'll explain why in a second. So Grayson, where are the verbs at?
Was
Good.
because
Not because, it's because of. So that's going to be a preposition, actually.
did
Did, good. I think those
and
are, oh, there's one more.
agree.
Agree, there you go. So was, did, and agree. And who's the subject for those, Grayson? There's two separate subjects in here.
The stranger,
Yep.
um,
And then in the who
his,
clause,
or no, who clause? Who
it's who. Good. Yes. All right. So now that we know the subject verb pair, do you see how the who clause has its own subject verb pair, who was? If I were to take out that who clause, the main clause would be the stranger did not readily agree. Do you see how that goes together? Because the subject is stranger and the verbs that go with that subject are did and agree. So that's why the main clause includes everything. Because if you ignore the who clause, the rest of it's the main clause. It doesn't break it up. All right, so we got that. What about the prepositional phrase, Zach?
Um, because of his unjust, harsh thrashing.
Yes, very good. All the way to the noun thrashing. So because of is a preposition. All right. And then the opener, Grayson,
Um, I have no.
okay, so
It's
we got the, and then we've got stranger, which is a subject.
number one.
Yes, it's a number one subject. So even though the first word is still considered a subject opener because the subject is right after that. Okay, good job. Indent, we're just going to put a paragraph symbol at the beginning because this is going to be the beginning of a new paragraph. Capital, that's easy. Zach, what about the comma? We just talked about this in our lesson about those adjectives, coordinate adjectives. So where
So
should we put the comma?
right in between unjust and harsh.
Yes, very good. And the way to test it is, can you reverse it? Could you say his harsh, unjust thrashing? Yeah, you can. And if you could put and between his unjust and harsh thrashing. Yes. So that means it's coordinate and you need a comma and then of course the end mark here at the end. And that's it. All right. Any questions about grammar today? Nope. Okay, good. So we're done with that. And like I said, and I don't know, Zach, if you heard this, because I said it at the beginning, but we're done practicing for the state test. So we're going to get back into our regular grammar and writing lessons this week. And did you both find a person in history to write about? Did you come up with a person in history yet? Grayson says yes. You both say yes. Okay, good. And were you able to find articles yet about that person? Grayson?
I was sick this like week. So,
Okay.
and then Monday I had to work out with my dad. Tuesday I had to work out with my dad. And then Wednesday we had that track meet. So
Oh,
I
wow.
wasn't able to do it,
Okay.
but I could be able to do it this week, definitely.
Okay. Well, we're going to get started on it in class. You still want to watch the video from last week just to make sure you didn't miss anything. But we're finished with, if you remember way back, you guys should be finished with Amelia Earhart. If you're not finished with that yet, keep it in your front pocket. If you are finished with it, you can put that away. That was week 15. And we're going to move on today to week 16, which is the historical person of choice. So go ahead and if you're done with Amelia Earhart, put that one away. If not, keep it in your front pocket. But everybody needs to get out week 16, which is a historical person of choice, and a piece of white paper from the back of your binder if you have any more. If you're out of that paper, you can use regular printer paper. So you need these pages. There's only 3, I think, for week 16. Get the 3 pages out for week 16 and a piece of not lined, the white paper from the back. Or a piece of printer paper. You just have to write really small. I think that's probably what you got, right, Grayson?
Mine's a little bit bigger than printer paper,
Okay,
but
good.
smaller than that one.
Okay, it's in between. That's fine. It looks like Zach had to go find some too. They gave you some in there, but sometimes we run out. But you can buy this paper at Walmart. I know they have it if you want more. Otherwise, I'm fine with whatever you guys can find. Did you get one, Zach? the line paper, I mean the white paper. All right. So before we get too deep into, I'm going to help you guys find some articles. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and fold the white paper first. You're going to fold it so it's wide like this, taco fold, I like to call it. Fold it like that. And then after that fold, you're going to fold it into thirds. So past the middle and the other side goes on top of that. You guys know how to fold this. So you end up with 6 squares is the goal. So you should end up with it kind of like small like that. And then when you open it up, there should be 6 squares. That. Got it, Zach? Are you working on it? Perfect. Yes, just like that. It's small. You'll have to write small, but that's okay. You will find 3 articles about your person in history. So we're just going to get this set up for you and ready to go for the week. Okay. So you're going to call this one A in the first box, and we're going to do Roman numeral 1 and 1 through 5. That, just like we did for Amelia Earhart and all the other papers you've been working on. The middle box is going to be B, and it's still Roman numeral 1, 1 through 5. And C, Roman numeral 1, 1 through 5. Okay. And then at the bottom, like usual, we're going to put fused outline. This time it's going to be Roman numeral 1, 1 through 6, and no parentheses on this one. 6, we're going to write that word clincher here. And then under C, we're going to put possible topics. And under A, I'm going to have you fill in this box too. I like all the boxes with something in it. At the top of that box, I want you to put steps to writing summaries. And summaries is like, it's an essay basically, and you're doing some research here. Steps to writing summaries. We're going to look at 3 different articles and gather information from them. The steps, though, number 1 is you must know what your subject is. That's the first step. Whenever you sit down to do an assignment or an essay or a research paper, whatever you're working on, you got to know what your subject is. What are you writing about? So let me ask you this, Grayson, who is the person that you picked? I know you haven't done any, haven't found any articles yet, but who did you pick?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. Okay, perfect. That's a good one. And how about you, Zach? Who did you pick?
Abraham Lincoln.
Perfect. Yes. Okay, good. You guys picked some great people that have, there's going to be a lot of information to find about those. Just write that down real quick. And Abraham Lincoln. That is your subject. You guys figured that out. That's good. Number 2 is now you're going to list possible topics. And that comes from your sources. So you're going to print these sources later, but we can look at them online while you're on the Zoom and get a feel for what information you're finding in there. You're going to find information about like their early life, what their career was, or what maybe their education or their training or their accomplishments. A lot like what we've done already, like with Amelia Earhart. We learned where she grew up and what her life was like when she was young, and then how she got into aviation. So you're going to look for possible topics. And then do you remember what, after we make that list, do you guys remember what the next step is? What do you do when you have a list of possible topics? What do you do with that list? You choose one, right? So we got to choose topic. So you make a list, you decide which one you want to start with for your first paragraph. Okay, and then after that, once you choose a topic, you guys know what to do next? See if you remember.
Find out about the topic.
Find out about the topic. Okay, yes, that kind of goes with choosing the topic. So you read about the topic. And then what do you do after you find out about that topic? You're going to write your KWO plus fused, right? That's this part. So you know your subject, who you're writing about. Find your articles and you look for possible topics. Then you choose one of those topics. And you're right, Grayson, you got to read about it. And then you build your KWO and your fused, which is this. And then after you have all that done and you have your fused ready to go, what's the next step after that? Grayson?
Write it.
Yes, good. Write paragraph. And these become like your body paragraphs. And then what you do then is repeat 3, 4, and 5. So you choose your second topic and you write your KWO and your fused for your second topic under Roman numeral 2. And then you write your second paragraph. And then you go back to step 3, choose your third topic, write your keyword outline and your fused, and then you write your paragraph. So these right here, I'm just going to go like that and put repeat. These repeat for each paragraph. Choose topic, write your KWO and fused, write your paragraph. Choose the next topic. All right, one more thing we need to do on the back is set up for Roman numeral 2, so you're all ready to go this week. So let's do that. We're going to do A again, and this time it's Roman numeral 2 on the back. So go ahead and set up that. I know it's a lot of work to get this set up, but it's going to help you so much in the long run when you go to write your papers. So this is a habit I do want you to get into even after you're done with my class. Okay, this is a good skill to know. This is C, Roman numeral 2. Used, outline. Then sure. Okay. This week, you guys are going to write 2 paragraphs. We'll start with 2. Okay. All right. Do you know how to minimize your Zoom so that you can access Google from your computer at the same time? You guys know how to do that? Okay. So go ahead and minimize the Zoom call and open up your browser. I'm going to do this with you at the same time. I use Google Chrome, but you guys use whatever you're used to using on that computer. Mine's pink, so you have to put up with pink for a minute. All right. On your Google bar, you're going to search, and I really want you to do it a certain way because as you guys know, when you're searching on Google, it can get a little weird. There's pop-ups that happen and there's things that you don't want to necessarily see. So there's a safe way to search on Google, and that is to add for kids. Even though I know you guys are older kids, it's not for young kids. Okay. These are for kids in general. And it keeps your search a little bit safer to go through. So, like for Zach, yours would be all about Abraham Lincoln. For kids is what I want you to type into your Google. For kids. And I want you to do that, especially because we're in class right now. But if you need to do a deeper search with a parent, they can help you find other ways to search. But this is the easiest way when we're doing this together. You're going to see videos. You can watch those videos later if you want to get a feel for about who Abraham Lincoln was. And so for you, Grayson, you're going to obviously put in all about Kobe Bryant for kids. Did you type that in on yours, Grayson? Okay, good. So on yours, scroll down until you see Britannica Kids. I see one for Zach. Do you have Britannica on yours, Grayson? Britannica. Okay, go ahead and click that Britannica link. That's a safe one to go to. And you're going to notice when you click on Britannica, there's some tabs over here. Do you guys see these on your computer too? These little tabs. Kids, students, scholars. I recommend clicking students. That's a good one. It gives you a lot of information, little bit more than the kids tab. And now Britannica is a subscription, but do not subscribe because you have to pay for that. Okay. So you're not going to subscribe to this. I do want you to bookmark it. Do you guys know how to bookmark a website? Do you guys know how to do that? No? Okay. So at the top on your search bar, hopefully you can see it because sometimes the Zoom covers it up, but right at your search bar at the very, very top of your screen, there's a little tiny star right there. If you see that star, click it. You guys have that? Give me a thumbs up if you have that star. Okay, good. And it'll say bookmark added. And mine says Abraham Lincoln students. Yours would say Kobe Bryant students. Go ahead and click done. And now that's added as a bookmark. It's pretty cool. And then later you can find it so much easier. You don't have to go through the whole search. So in order to find it later, I'll walk you through this. Do you see at the upper right of your search bar, there's also 3 dots in a row? Okay, go ahead and click those 3 dots in a row. And if you scroll down, you should see the star partway down. And then it'll say bookmarks and lists. You guys see that on yours? I have a lot. No, you don't. Okay. So the 3 dots, if you click on it, you should see like new tab, new window, new incognito window. You should see words like that, passwords and autofill. If you keep going down, 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 you should see bookmarks and lists. Maybe yours is different. I don't know. Do you see bookmarks on there, Grayson or Zach?
For me, I could just click all bookmarks and then it'll be right in there.
Okay, good. As long as you can find it. Yours might be set up a little different than mine. How about you, Grayson? Are you finding that? No? Okay. That's okay. I bet someone in your family knows how to find bookmarks. As long as you click that star, it's bookmarked. So you just have to figure out how to find the bookmarks. And I'm sure you probably can figure it out if you play with it for a little bit. But anyway, back to this website. So for now, you guys can just use this online, but later I do want you to print it, okay? Because I want you to be able to have it in class next week. So you're going to print this. It won't let you print though unless you subscribe. So there's a way around that. You can actually highlight it and print it this way. just by highlighting and then right click or double click if you're on a laptop. And print, I think it'll let you just print maybe. Let me see here if I change mine. Yeah, so that's one way to print it. You can highlight it, right click or double click and click print. That's one way around it, so you don't have to subscribe. But you're going to notice as you scroll through this website, there's a lot, which is good. You need all this stuff. So it's probably going to end up being about maybe 8, 9 pages to print. As long as your parent is okay with that, I want you to print it because we're going to use it, like I said, as paper. So you can mark on it, highlight, put Post-its on it. This is how you do research. It's so much easier to have it in your hand, at least to start with.
The entire thing is 18 pages.
18 pages. Okay. Is there a way that you can print without graphics? Like maybe, like see how I can highlight without all the pictures? And you might be able to like cut and paste it into a Word doc and then you lose that space between, you know what I mean?
I
Yeah,
can try that.
you try that, then it'll be hopefully less than 17 pages because that is a lot to print, but or 18 or however many you said. Okay, Grayson.
Mine only has 2 pages of printing paper.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. So when you're on the website like this, are you able to scroll through a lot? Is there a lot on there?
There's not a lot on there.
Okay. Let me see what it looks like when I look up Kobe. It's Kobi, right? Can't remember how to spell his name.
E. E.
Oh yeah, that's right. E.
I have a lot more than that.
Okay. Well, that's good. I don't know why it's see if it because okay, hold on. They do sometimes lock it up like that, so you have to kind of get around that. Let me try something real quick. Let me just start from the beginning and see what it gives me. Kobe Bryant. Okay, so probably look something like that. And then if you click on students, do you have that? Yeah, I see what you mean. There's not a lot on here, but that's pretty good. That's something. So you can print that later. Um, okay, so just even looking at this for Grayson on your white page, go back to the front where we have possible
I
topics.
can copy and paste everything onto a Google Doc. It works.
Oh, good. Yay. Okay, cool. I'm glad you did that. Okay. Um, on your white page under possible topics, both of you need to write down early life because they're both going to have information about early life. So back to this, early life is going to be a possible topic. And both of you are going to start with that. Anytime you do like a biography about a person in history, you want to start with their early life. So we have context of when they lived. Obviously, Kobe Bryant was in our generation, right? We remember him. And then Zach for Abraham Lincoln, obviously that was way before we were born. So it's good to start with like their birthday, when they were born, where they lived, what kind of family life they had, what kind of person were they as a young person. And then another thing you can add to your possible topics are what you see as subheadings here. Like on this one for Grayson, basketball career, add that under possible topics. You'll put basketball career and accomplishments. And that'll be true for you too, Zach. You can use accomplishments. I'm sure that's on yours with Abraham Lincoln. That's a good place to start. Okay. Go back to your search bar where in Google. Go back to your Google search here. And now look for another source. I know National Geographic Kids is another great safe source to go to. So this is for Abraham Lincoln. And then let me go back and see and do the same thing with this one. Bookmark it for you, Zach. And then if you want to cut and paste and put in another Google Doc for that, you can, or you can just try to just print it straight from there. But let me see. Oops, no, that's not what I want. Did you find National Geographic for Kobe?
I did Ducksters.
Ducksters is a good one too. Yep,
They have like a bunch of stuff about it.
yep, yep. And you can use Ducksters too, Zach, if you see that on yours. That's a safe one. See if I can find another one for you. So Zach, your three can be Britannica, National Geographic, and Ducksters. Grayson, I didn't see a National Geographic for Kobe, but this one's a UK site, but this is a good one. Another thing to remember for you guys, this is actually, it looks pretty good. I went to funfacts.org.uk. When you're searching on Google, like I said, sometimes, stuff happens on Google. So you want to make sure you keep it for kids for now. But one way to determine if a site is reliable or not is if there's pop-ups. Like, I'm sure you've seen them before. There's pop-ups like lose 200 pounds in 24 hours, which obviously is not possible, but it's like weird stuff like that. When you see a bunch of ads come up when you're searching, don't use that site. That is not a safe site to go to. That's a kind of a rule of thumb that you can think of when you look. Like I pulled up this one. There's no ads on here. This is all just information. That's it. No sidebar ads that are going crazy, or sometimes you see them flashing. They're like, earn $1 million in 1 week, something like that. Don't use those
Did you
sites that have
say?
all those ads.
Did you say that I should do Ducksters too?
Yes. Did you find one for Dexter's?
Yep.
Yep, Dexter's is good. So you have the three. You have Britannica, National Geographic, and Dexter's. And Grayson, you should have Britannica, Dexter's, and this one, funfacts.org. So those are your three sources. So make sure you bookmark each one of those. And this is kind of cool because I like this site for you, Grayson, because you've got fun facts. And you'll have to see how it has information here about his early life, when he was born, where he was born, and look for things that talked about, like here, Kobe Bryant attended the high school that he attended, and later he got married and they had kids. Talks about his sisters. So those things would be good for his early life. Obviously, once he gets into his career, his basketball career, that's going to be, so these facts looks like they're mixed up. So do you understand what I mean, Grayson? Go ahead, Grayson.
What's that website called? The third one you gave me as an option?
This one right here
Yes.
is called fun dash, here, let me put it in the chat. It's fun dash facts dot org dot UK. But let me put the actual link because there's a little bit more to it. Copy. I'll put it in the chat and you can try just clicking on it and see if it takes you right there. Because it says /black-American/Kobe-Bryant.htm. Did it take you to that? Oh, good. Okay, cool. So for the students who are listening to this recording, I think it's Christian and Harmony. This is just an example of how you can find information. I recommend you sitting down with a parent to help you search. And the best rule of thumb is to look for websites that don't have a lot of pop-ups, that are just straight information like this one. This is a good one. And find 3. So it sounds like Grayson and Zach, you guys are good. You found your 3. You should have at least 3 topics listed under possible topics. So I'm going to flip over to that really quick again. So I know I put basketball career. That was for obviously for Grayson, but accomplishments should be one. And death, because both of those people died. Legacy, excuse me. And then as you're, because we don't have time to go through all the details of each possible topic, but as you're scrolling through each one of those sites, you're going to see subheadings, like especially for Britannica, it's really nice and clear. They've got like early life and then a giant paragraph and then like accomplishments and then a giant paragraph. So look for those subheadings. You'll find others too. It might be like hobbies, or it might be awards. Maybe they got awarded. I know that for Kobe, he won like the national championships multiple times. He was MVP, right? He was a coach at one point, so that could be a possible topic, is his coaching time. So make sure you make a list of at least 3. The more the better you have to choose from. Okay, thumbs up if you got some stuff written under possible topics here. Okay, good. So like I said earlier, we're going to start with early life. Both of you guys are going to do your first paragraph on early life. So let's go ahead and get this set up. You can use initials. So obviously AL for Abraham Lincoln, and you would have KB for Kobe Bryant, and then early life. Go ahead and write that next to each Roman numeral 1, the initials of your guys' person in history, and then comma early life, blank, comma early life. And then you're going to actually write out the name on this one, because this is the one you're going to use to write. So you can write it out, Abraham Lincoln, whoever your guy is, comma, early life. When you go to write this paragraph about his early life, you don't have to use the words early life. You can plug in something different there. You can say Abraham Lincoln was born on blank in blank, like what state he was born in. You don't have to use the words early life, but this is helping you remember this is what you're focusing on for your first paragraph. And then you're going to fill in some interesting facts. Okay, so you're all set up for your first Roman numeral. So now go back to your website and you're going to choose, I suggest you choose Britannica as your article A, because remember we have A, B, and C. So you can do, and even put a note here if you need to, because you're not printing it yet, but it helps when you print it and then you write A at the top. That way you can keep it straight. So this A is going to be Britannica. B for you, Zach, could be National Geographic. For Grayson, it's Ducksters. C is Ducksters for Zach. C is going to be that funfacts.org. That way you're keeping straight. That's really important as you organize your outline and as you get ready to write down facts that you want to include in your paper, to make sure you know which article is which one. Okay. For paragraph 2, you guys are going to choose from your own list what you want to write about for your second paragraph. And if you don't know yet, that's okay. You can do a little bit of research after class to figure out what you want to put as your second paragraph. Ultimately, you're going to have 3 topics. We're just focusing on 2. So don't choose death and legacy for your second paragraph because we're going to save those for your third paragraph. Okay. So you can choose something in the middle, his coaching, his accomplishments. You can choose, like for Zach, his presidency or his political career, however you choose to word that. I would choose like what he's most known for. Obviously, Abraham Lincoln is most known for his contribution as president.
Yeah, I was gonna do presidency, and then for my third paragraph is like legacy and death.
Perfect. Yep, that's perfect. How about you, Grayson? What do you think you'll do for a second paragraph?
I don't know. I think early life and then maybe accomplishments, because I don't know. I feel like that's better to go through than to death and not like saying anything about his accomplishments. But yeah, probably accomplishments and skip basketball career. Just go to accomplishments.
Actually, what you could do is combine those 2.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. That would be good because you got to talk about his basketball career. I think because he's a legend, you know. And it would be really important to talk about that. And then you can save, both of you guys save death and legacy. You could do those together for your last paragraph. So this could be, I'm just going to put a Roman numeral 3 next to that, put a Roman numeral 1 next to that. And then whatever you choose for Roman numeral 2, that way you kind of have it planned out. But like I said, as you guys go through your articles, you might find other ideas too. Okay. Any questions about anything we've done so far on here? No? Good. Okay, awesome. So now we have a few minutes left of class. I'm going to have you look at, let's start with Article A, which is your Britannica site. So go ahead and go to that Britannica site. Hopefully you still have it open. And it's also a good idea if you want to open up these 3 sites in 3 separate tabs, that's also a good idea. And that way you don't have to keep going back to your original search. You can just like right click or double click and open it in a new tab. But I want you both to go to your Britannica tab. Yeah, I'll go to the Kobe Bryant one. Make sure you select students on it. Or like you said, you already cut and pasted in a Google Doc, so you can go to that if you need to. I should have said that. Either way. And then I want you to just focus on the paragraph about their early life and start on your white page here under A. Go ahead and start by reading that paragraph by yourself and then start writing down some key facts, key details with your keywords on your outline. And then I'll give you some time to work on that. Let me know if you guys have any questions, okay? You already got that, Grayson? What'd you get for your facts under A?
Kobe Bryant, born August 1978, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
National Player of the Year, and then Hornets drafted him 13th pick in 1996 NBA draft.
Okay, good. I see on this one too. I didn't know this, but his father was also an NBA player. So that might be good to mention in there. If you have a number 4 or 5, you can put that down. His name was Joe Bryant. 8 seasons in the NBA. How about you, Zach? Are you finding good information about his early life?
I'm done.
You're done too? Okay, awesome. What do you have for your facts under A?
Abraham was born in Kentucky on February 12th, 1809. His parents were pioneer farmers and he had two siblings, Sarah and Thomas.
Okay, good. Um, let's go on to the next source then. Since you guys are done with A, yours is Duxter's, Grayson, and I think yours was National Geographic. So go ahead and switch over to your other source and do the same thing. This time, try to find different facts about their early life. So you already have when they were born, where they were born, a little bit about their family. So maybe look for things like their hobbies when they were young, or school, the schooling that they went to when they were younger, things like that. Okay, got it. What'd you get for B?
Um, uh, his parents couldn't read or write. He could only go to school occasionally, so he mainly taught himself with borrowed books.
Wow. Okay, good. So you got 3 facts on that. That's pretty good. We have another minute if you want to go on to your third source, which I think for you was Duxter's. So you can go to that and then see if you can find something different about him, his early life. Okay, good. Grayson, what do you have for your B?
Immediately traded to Los Angeles Lakers. 17 years old when he was drafted, and then he was 18 when he started his first NBA game.
What? I did not know that. That's crazy. I think most people join the NBA like in their 20s, right? It seems young.
A lot of them normally join like maybe after their like sophomore year of college, I think.
Yeah,
Which
which
is
would be
pretty
like
young because
20.
you can't be over 22 to enter the draft. They
Okay.
all leave pretty early, I think.
Okay. Wow. So that's partly what made him a legend, probably, is just he had a natural talent for the game. And wow, that's crazy. Well, of course, he had his dad. So his dad probably taught him some stuff at home, or on the court, he probably just picked it up really quick. That's interesting though. So, okay, we're gonna pause there on your search for a minute because I do want to just look at the checklist with you before you go. So just take a peek at that. Um, it's pretty much the same as it was for Amelia Earhart. There's nothing new on here. You guys are both really good at including everything, so you want to make sure to have all your dress ups in both paragraphs and your opener, your prepositional opener with the number 2 next to it. That needs to be one of those in each paragraph. Don't worry about the title or any of that stuff yet, but you do need your topic clinchers. Those are the main things to remember as you're writing these paragraphs. So your homework this week is going to be to finish Roman numerals 1 and 2, and then write paragraphs 1 and 2 for your paper. You pick a different topic for, the second paragraph. And like I said earlier, you can combine some stuff because it's only going to be 3 paragraphs for your body part of your essay. Okay. So ultimately, but you're only focusing on 2 paragraphs this week. So do you guys have any questions about homework or anything? You're good? Okay, awesome. Try to print those by next week. So when you come to class, you have them in front of you. Okay. All right. That's it. You guys have a great week. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.